El que no me lo cortó, ¿viste?
Están en Teletón 2000.
AKIRA suspendida por un día.
¿Por ser neopofeminista?
No. Por maleducada y fome.
Si no le da llegate. Sí, da llegate.
Así que tú no te muevas de invasión.
Quédate.
In a city on the verge of anarchy, 30 years have passed since World War III.
But the walls are still open in the futuristic city of Neo Tokyo. Witness
Repression, madness, desperation, and rebellion. Experience an animation Minds Control, its raw story about an inescapable destiny. Discover a classic in our culture that changed the West forever. With a mix of plot, complex characters, and R-rated movie. Share responsibility. Take your kids so they can enjoy a cult classic. The end is nigh.
Start your engine.
Prepare your mind.
Action.
Merging 5, 4, 3, 2,
1.
The film takes place in a dystopian world as a result of an explosion of atomic proportions, which caused the Third World War. Due to this neglect, protests and increased violence on the streets bring despair. One of the members of a motorcycle gang, Tetsuo, suffered a strange accident. When he discovered that he possesses psychic powers, which end up driving him crazy for power, and he resigns himself to being an experiment, becoming a trick for Neo Tokyo as for himself. Akira is not to blame for displaying bloody violence and visceral. The dynamic and phenomenal animation helped us set the standard for modern anime. The title has been regarded as one of the best animated movies of all time, as it sparked an increase in the popularity of anime movies in the United States and outside of Japan.
Like a superintendent that bikes a dystopian side of the future, such as ones in movies like Matrix, Blade Runner, Robocop, etc. We are set in Neo Tokyo after the Third World War, a place full of neon, holograms and ads, architecturally wonderful, technology advanced, but there is something else, poverty and anarchy. A country that has lost hope on its own people. Neo Tokyo is a city plagued with crime, in both the public scope, by gangs such as Tetsuo and the Clown, and the political scope represented by Mr. Nesuo Katsuhiro. The idea was to show a retired Japan, a country to be rebuilt to its former glory like was before.
abuse of power, gang where minors participate, drug trafficking, religious cult, revolutionaries, terrorists, criminals, a hopeless generation, a repressive and soulless education, and a government that is on the brink. The dilemma between plunging in a war of contrast, between the powerful and the defenseless, extremism and the survival of the fittest.
Here in Neo-Tokyo is the product of the interests of its rulers, concerned about themselves and their image, and in the shadows, others who seek the power of AKIRA and others who really seek to improve. Sooner or later, what will be the hope for the people will be born, or a monster symbol of social fury, ugliness and mystery.
Product of New Tokyo's superficialism and repression. He was bullied since childhood because he was left by his parents, having Kaneda as his only friend from that period. As a member of Kaneda's gang, he strutted like a kid. All of his dangers become clear after Gan saved him from an attack by the clown. After developing his powers, Tetsuo unleashes himself on rebels, challenging Akira to prove that he is more powerful. But Tetsuo can control himself for less. He needs to prove that he was someone stronger than he really was made. Him an enemy of his own friend, just like those in Neo Tokyo and Japan. They became enemies of their own citizens in their quest to be a better country than the one they had. They were before.
The myth that once existed, that caused everything, that would cleanse the world of everything. But Akira is our hidden power, that power that not all of us know who to control. In his fury, Tetsuo was his own threat, facing every warning from the Easters. Colonel Tsukishima only sought to use the power of Akira to rebuild what was once Tokyo, forgetting about the people who were victims of ambition 31 years before and 31 years later. For the world full of violence, repression and despair, Akira was their only messiah, since there was no longer God and no one to trust. They saw Akira in Tetsuo because he represented their ideals of freedom and a repressed social beauty.
The second explosion that could end Neo Tokyo again. The light after a storm. Despite how bad destroyed Tokyo looked, it was once more an opportunity to do right things. A short opportunity to use the power of Akira, the infinite power that we all possess.
鉄夫はどうした？死んだのか？
どうかな。きっと。
Adultito, acabo de escuchar algo horrible. En Locomotion dicen que la animación ya no es cosa de niños. No podré ver dibujitos nunca más. ¡Mamá! No, imbécil. Lo que dicen es que la animación no es solo cosa de niños. Eso significa que la animación es tanto para la gente madura como yo, como para los idiotas como tú. ¡Yupi, yupi!
It's not only a milestone for popular culture due to its technical aspect in terms of its production, causing the massification and subsequent introduction of Japanese animation to the West.
Creé humano, se llama Drossel, y en esta ocasión, en la presentación que vamos a hacer, voy a tratar de manipular a esta señorita y transformarla en una muñeca perfecta.
It is basically the one who changed how we see animation, that is capable of reproducing dead things, that touch reflective minds and manage to mark generation due to its message, which is exceptionally transmitted through its animation. The future we deliver, where each being has power to change things. The relevance of the new generation in a hopeless world. The inevitable destiny, and perhaps one the most resonant, fear of the atom. The post-war wounds, as in parallel to real life, Japan is disintegrating more and more, and they cannot go back to what they were. They live in past, but they do not want to see how horrible the world is.
The loser sides, it's perhaps where we can learn from, and despite all the horrible things in the world, there is hope. A timeless work of worship, an example of how an expression of art can convey a message without they are prejudiced in the environment. Transcendental works are the product of our palpable world, thus generating empathy, the cruelty of life, and the different perspectives of the broad spectrum.
でも、いつかは私たちにも。もう始まっているからね。